All right. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to 2024, 2020 twin. I hope that you had a great holiday week. Last week we had our rewind going. I hope that you got value from the rewind about Chat GPT. It was voted most impactful training from our group. So welcome to Unlock Your First Six Figures morning show. I am your host, Shay Cannon. I'm an award-winning fractional chief operating officer. That's award-winning. Did y'all think I forgot in 2024? I did not. Award-winning, right? So I have an exclusive clientele of 6 and 7 figure CEOs. However, I have a mission, and that mission includes you, small business owners and entrepreneurs who are spinning their wheels and struggling to get to their first 6 figures in business. I want to show you how to make the money and create time freedom. That's make the money and create time freedom. My freedom looks like living and working my business from anywhere in the world. I'll spare you the details of the 5 years of doing that. And so I just want you to know I'm living my best life, working my best business in Mexico right now. Okay. So Blog Talk has already been released. And the topic of this week is mitigating risk with your small business in 2024. As you guys know, for the past couple of months, we've been focused on getting you ready for 2024. Now it is here, right? But I did want to talk this week about mitigating risk. Now, small businesses, when you guys think of risk, you probably think of financial losses. You might even think of like being in out of compliance or having legal troubles. But there is way more to risk when it comes to business, especially for small businesses, right? Because we can't handle some of the risks that big business can handle. They can be sustainable throughout some risk, whereas some of us, we can't, right? So that's what we're going to talk about this week. And the first thing that we're going to talk about, or the first risk you need to mitigate, is you need to, the risk is all about offering an offer that lacks market fit. Okay, an offer that lacks market fit. Now, what does that mean? I'm gonna sum it up by saying, who told you to sell that? Okay, I'm gonna sum it up. Who told you to sell that? Right? So a lot of y'all are out here selling stuff, right? An offer nobody asked you for. Okay, and let me tell you, and some of y'all, I'm gonna give you a break. I'm gonna give you a break, some of y'all, because some people have been asking you for it. They just wasn't willing to give you no money for it, right? They asked you for it for free, but they wasn't willing to pay you for it, right? So the thing that you do should be scalable, right? That means there should be a large population that need it, know they need it, or want it, know they want it, and are willing to pay for it, okay? They have to be willing to pay for it. Now, niche is one thing. Making up something that's not valuable enough for somebody to pay for is a whole nother thing, right? So I'm not telling you not to niche down. In fact, we'll talk about that this week. But what I am telling you is make sure that what you're selling, that there is a market for it, okay? Not just people that want it and don't want to pay you, that there's a market for it. So the thing that you can do to mitigate this risk is what big businesses do, right? Big businesses can hold more risk than you, but they're not willing to put something out to market that they don't feel like they can make money on. So what do they do to make sure that they don't do that? Easy. They do their market research, okay? They do their market research, and it boils down to, can I sell this thing in this format to who I think I can sell it to? Okay, and make the profit I want to make. That's what they're out there researching. However, because 2 people asked you to bake a cake, all of a sudden you want to go into the cake baking business, and them 2 people done had your 2 cakes and nobody else is asking you for a cake. And then the 2 people that asked you for the cake, they got it for free. And so, hey, you might not be able to bake cakes for people that's going to pay you money. Okay, maybe everybody don't want to buy a $20 cake post-recession. Okay, and I'm not saying that your Mean Mall's recipe ain't good. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, what I'm saying is there's not a lot of people that you thought would buy that's going to buy. So before you go, Teray said, I don't appreciate you telling my business. Go on, Teray. But before you go and you start buying new baking supplies, before you go and start buying all the ingredients, right? And before you go, going over there worrying and stressing your family out about investing and buying from you, because let me tell you this, if you're waiting on your family to buy, you might not have a business. Okay? If you're waiting on friends to buy, you might not have a business. Okay? It's one thing for them to support you when you launch something. It's another thing for them to continue to support you so that you can make money and a lifestyle off of your business. Your business is supposed to attract more than your family and your friends. Okay? So if they, at launch bought something, great. A lot of families don't buy nothing when you launch. Okay? So if they bought something at launch, great. That's support. But you shouldn't be relying on family and friends for you to have a sustainable business. Your business is supposed to attract people willing to pay for what you have for sale. Okay? So it is a risk. It is a huge risk for your offer to lack market fit. Okay? It has to come in and have a market for it. So again, big businesses, they drop big money on making sure that they're not going to waste time and they're not going to waste money. So they spend it on market research before they launch some stuff. And guess what? Sometimes they launch it to a few people, and then they bring that money in, and then they get that feedback, and they take that money and reinvest it, and they launch it to more people, right? Some of y'all think y'all launching worldwide the first time that you launch. Okay, that's an exception. It's definitely not a rule. Okay, so I need you in mitigating risk, okay, to make sure that what you have to sell, what your offer is actually scalable to be sold to a lot of people, enough that's going to sustain your business and sustain you. All right, I would love to hear stories, okay? I'm asking you ladies stories. It could be a first-hand account of something that you tried to launch, or something that somebody tried to sell and you thought to yourself, is that a business? Like, could you really sell that to enough people? Right? Are you really fussing about your family and friends now? But I want to hear the stories, okay? Before we go into the tips, I want to hear the stories. So we're going to start with Heather. Heather, tell me a story of you encountering a small business or an entrepreneur selling something that made you feel like, I don't think there's a market for that.
I can't right now. So, I don't have a story necessarily, because of course I wasn't thinking about that. But I do know that when I started my business, it was because, bye baby, I love you. Okay. You did. That's amazing. They made ice cream. Okay. For breakfast apparently, but I mean, it's got milk and eggs in it, so why not?
Ma'am, focus.
Sorry. Okay. Woo. Shut up, Shaky. Dang. Shay and Shaky now, both of you. Okay. When I started my business, I was very hesitant to do so. And Malika Holloway actually and Allison were the ones who were like, do you know how much raggedy copy is out here in this world? Like, what is the hesitation? And they basically told me to shit or get off the pot. And so
love it.
That's how I got started. So
I love it. So tell me okay, so they told you, right? So two people told you that this is a viable business. What since then has proven to you that this is a viable business and an offer that is sustainable enough to have income coming in that's going to sustain you as a business and as a person? Are you froze, Heather? I think Heather's froze. All right, we'll just go to Teray. Okay, Teray, give me a story of an example of someone selling something and you thinking to yourself, who asked for that? You went out, Heather, so we see your mouth moving, but we don't hear nothing. I think we caught you.
I didn't say anything because I could tell.
Oh, okay, cool. So I'll tell you what, we'll go back to you. What made you feel like it was sustainable after a while? Like it was a real business?
It was more that it felt very much like a build it and they will come kind of a thing, because I didn't really start marketing. I got to know people through the big TSP group. Like I started meeting people.
Yes.
And then also it was all referral. So somebody would hear, oh, somebody has a book. Hey, I know an editor. Hey,
Yes.
my website it needs updating. I know an editor. She's also a writer, and then it just has built from there.
Love it. Love it. I
So
love
it's
that.
been all referral word of mouth, which I am forever grateful for. So
Cool beans. We got some of our community tuning in over here on Facebook. Eva said, good morning. Keith said they are not your target audience. He's talking about your family and your friends. And then Kylia, good morning, Kylia. Okay, so Teray, what we're asking is, has there been a time when you encountered another entrepreneur or a business and they were at risk? You could tell they had an offer that maybe didn't have a market fit, and you thought to yourself, who asking you for this? Who told you to start trying to sell this? Is anybody gonna buy this? Do you have any stories on that?
Good morning. Happy New Year, everybody. I don't know if I have any stories on it. So I guess the people that I've encountered that were, whenever I raised an eyebrow and was like, is that what you're selling? My thought was, I think my thought was, are you pitching it to the right people in the right way? So it's not so much that I thought, well, that's not a business. Nobody wants to buy that. I'm like, somebody wants to buy it, but maybe you're talking to me about it, and why are you, or I've gone to the mall and I saw one of those carts in the middle of the mall, and they were, no one was ever over there by them, and I'm like, it's not that nobody will buy it. This is not the right place to sell this. You know what I mean? I've actually
Gotcha.
I've actually had business conversations with random. I'd be out and about, and I'm like, "Hey, so what do you sell? So how'd you get started? Do you know you might want to do this instead?" Like it's not so much that I thought somebody had a product that wasn't sellable. I almost think you can sell anything, but if you do it the right way, well, not anything, but there are some people selling some stuff. I'm like, wow, you're making money, huh? You must have found the right people to buy it.
Yes.
So, but the only example I would have is myself. Whenever I first got into the TSP community like 5 years ago, and in my mind, I was a coach. I was a coach. I'm helping women, you know, uh, get through their pain and their hardship of life. You know what I mean? My first book is about women who are middle aged, and life has gotten to a point where they didn't plan, because when we're younger we think we know how life will go for us, and you get to your 40s and you're like, this is not, I didn't plan on the divorce, I didn't plan on the child having a diagnosis, I didn't plan on having this disability, and so helping women through that. And like Heather, I talked to some people at TSP, was like, people don't want that.
Well, you know what? I'll say this. It's not that they don't want that. It's they don't prioritize paying for that. Right? That's what it is, right?
Right. So, and that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, wow, somebody needs this, but if I don't know how to market it correctly, I won't be able to sell it.
Exactly.
So so that's whenever I shifted.
Gotcha. Auntie Shaky, you said you see they not as judgy as you are. Yes, they are. They're just struggling to find examples. So I'm gonna ask you, Auntie Shaky, our rich auntie of the crew. Have you ever encountered another entrepreneur? And you look, I can't even get it out. She's like, oh, okay, Shaky. Look, answer the question.
Absolutely. So there is a young lady that I know. She calls herself the femininity fairy or whatever. So she teaches I think her motto is something like teaching alpha women to become not alpha. What's the opposite of alpha?
Feminine, more feminine.
Yes, more feminine. So that we could always hear yes when it comes to it. Okay. And so, she was trying to offer me her services. Okay.
Oh.
I can't see this as a business. This isn't a business. I can't certainly I could see this as a community, you know what I'm saying? Of women that maybe desire to have that, but why do I want to be that? Like you've not communicated to me why I want to be that. Like, first of all, I don't always want to hear yes. That's not my desire because I do want a man to be able to tell me no for my sake or whatever, right? Now, if I book, I book. You know what I'm saying? But but anyway, yeah, it just wasn't a good. That didn't make sense to me. It didn't make
Okay.
sense.
I love it. I love it. Kimberly Miles, I think is at work and can't come off the mic. If you have an example, Kimberly, you can put it in the comments and we will share it to everybody. Tracy, tell me about a time where you were introduced to a business and you were like, I don't know if that's going to sell. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Who asked you to sell that? How many people are going to buy that? Are you going to really be able to have a business from that?
Yes. So I've got a friend that actually started a sandwich business, but she can't cook and the sandwiches are not good. Um, and so she started off by bringing sandwiches to work, offering it for lunch. And if we had different events, she would cut them up. They'd be cute, but they were horrible. I mean, how can you not make a sandwich? But she actually kept bringing those sandwiches for free, passing out her business cards. And now she has a business and she's quit the job and she's selling sandwiches. And people are buying her sandwiches. Now they're mostly men that are buying her sandwiches, but
Oh,
she's making money. She has replaced her income
okay
from
now.
selling these sandwiches.
Love it. Love it. Kalia said that she can see to Ray, what you were describing, she could see it as a business, especially for single. No, not you didn't describe that. Auntie Shaker described it. She could see that as a business, especially for single Black women that don't want to be single. She said it reminds her of Coach Cass and her Wanted Woman. Yeah. So again, your offer lacking market fit, you have to be able to penetrate the market of where those people are, right? That's a part of it being a fit. So would they pay you? Sometimes is the question, not would they pay for it. Sometimes the question is, would they pay you, right? Glow, do you have an example of someone trying to start a business and you just wondered, is that a viable business? Have they done their market research?
Hey ladies. Hey, happy new year to you all. I'm sitting here thinking and no, because I guess I never look at it like that because I'm always trying to be positive, I guess. So I never just look at like, oh, that won't sell. So no, I haven't had an experience.
Okay. Let's go to Dr. Tachi. She's still over there laughing at the awful sandwiches. Dr. Tachi, do you have an example of encountering an entrepreneur and wondering, is that going to be, a good business? Like, I don't know if you can sell that. Have you done your market research?
Yes, so this is not necessarily a traditional business.
Yeah, you worse than shaky, Dr. Tachi.
Oh, sorry. Yes. So it's not necessarily a traditional business with a product or whatever. So there's someone that I know who lives in New York, and there are a lot of buskers in New York. And so buskers are street performers, basically. And that is a business because you do make money off of it. She sings, she cannot sing. She swears she could, and I tried because she's so supportive of me and what I do. I'm like, let me tune in, and I can never stay for the entire thing because she is just bloody awful, but she thinks she can sing. But I dare not say anything and smash her dreams of stardom. So in a sense, it's the same thing because it is a business. I actually don't know how much she makes from it, but when it's warm, every summer she's like, today I'm going to be at such and such. I'm like, why, sister? Stay home and watch TV because that would be a better use of your time than going and singing for people and disturbing them. So she's not terrible, but she definitely is not a singer, if you could. So she needs more coaching She need,
Okay.
like, she could probably take her voice to a more pleasant one, or even Jennifer Lopez status, because we all know Jennifer Lopez can't sing. So, but she can entertain. So that's what she's going to have to do. So that's my example.
Oh, all right. Well, you yeah, you made everybody fall out with that one. Okay, cool. So the purpose of me asking you that is because it's like we used earlier. Auntie Shaky said judgy, like we could be judgy, right? However, we're not judgy enough on our own offers sometimes, right? Which is really what it is about, to make sure that your offer has a market fit. We need to be judging that offer, right? Again, a part of that is, does anybody want to pay for that the way that you're selling it, right? In the format that you're selling it, to the people that you're trying to sell it to? Like, is that a market fit, right? So let's start talking about some ways that you can make sure that you are mitigating the risk of having an offer out there that nobody is really willing to pay for, and that is not a market fit, okay? First, you need to conduct your market research, right? Who else is selling something like that? Okay. Some of y'all come up with new stuff and you think, well, nobody's selling this, and that's a reason to sell it. Sometimes that's a reason not to sell it. Okay. Sometimes that's a reason not to sell it. If you're going to go forward with something that you've never seen in the market before, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to be patient, right? You're going to have something else going on to bring money in while you're waiting on this thing to take off, right? So first thing is conduct your market research. You want to identify the right target market and their needs, right? You want to study what competitors are doing. If they're not doing exactly what you're doing, what are they doing around this problem that you have? So let's let Shawana in. Boom. And she go. So you want to analyze what are the market trends and potential for growth, okay? Because you don't want something that you think is going to sell to a few people and then it has a ceiling, right? We don't want a ceiling. That's what we mean by it being scalable. We want to be able to continuously sell this thing for as long as possible to sustain our business, okay? So number one, conduct your market research. Number two, we want to create a minimal viable product to start with, okay? Now, there's always the luxury brand in your mind, right? In your mind, you always want to sell like the 100% version of it, which keeps you from launching, right? Which costs way more money, right? Which puts you at more of a risk. So what you want is a minimal viable product. Let's start with that. This is why we are now on iPhone 7 to 800,000, because they started with something they can go to market with and build over time. Y'all are trying to wait till you get the perfect version rather than getting the information from the market about what you're putting together, right? So you definitely want to do that. Auntie Shaky, you got your hand up. Did that strike a nerve?
It absolutely struck a nerve. I don't know if you all saw this foolishness with Telfar, or if you all are familiar with Telfar. Like, maybe I'm off topic. Maybe I'm off topic.
We'll see. Finish your thought.
But okay, so Telfar is a Black-owned luxury brand. What we thought was a Black-owned luxury brand. Okay. And kind of mid, I don't know if this is mid for them. I don't know if this is the end of the road for them, but they have definitely switched up their messaging. Kimberly, I don't particularly like, I own it because they were Black owned, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, but now I don't even want to wear my Telfar bag. I thought it was going to grow over time and be worth something over time. Kind of like a bag. Y'all remember the old Coach bags with the good leather, stuff like that? Those, you can't even find those no more. Because, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, let me stop. But I'm just saying, something about what you said made me think about Telfar and how, kind of changing up our strategy and our messaging, what that can do to our business.
Yeah. Yes, they're definitely in the limelight right now for however they've changed their messaging that doesn't resonate with their current customers. What I know about them is, I mean, he came out with his bags, and then what was the bestseller was the shopping bag. He's since done it in different sizes. He was kind of like this underdog of the design world that people then started to come in and buy. The bags are affordable luxury end. They're on the affordable end of luxury, but they still cost money, but they're not thousands, right? Like when we think of designer bags. But I do feel like that is different than what we're talking about today, because he found a niche that he could make money, and he could have continued to make money, but the marketing message has switched. And so that's a little different. Like he's doing that to his own business. Kimberly, you wanted to add to that? Is that why you came out the mic?
Oh,
Or
no, I didn't
you
mean to
didn't know
come
you
off
was
the
off the
mic.
mic
Sorry.
sneezing?
Sorry.
No problem. All right. So that's the first thing was conduct your market research. The second thing was create a minimal viable product. Now, one thing I can tell you about Telfar is they did create a minimum viable product. That shopping bag, it was very simple. It was not much to it, right? It wasn't much hardware on it, nothing. In fact, the design, for you to know that it was a designer bag, was basically an embossment. So they, say it was very viable product, minimum viable product. So that's a great example of that, Auntie Shaky. So you also want to do some surveys and some questionnaires. Okay, you want to collect some data from your target audience. Some of y'all first start to put something on the market and don't even know who you're gonna sell it to. Right? So you haven't even done the research from the right people, let alone research at all. So we always want to go to the right people. Right? I sometimes see people ask questions about how much would you pay for this, or would you buy this? But you're asking that question of somebody who may not be your target audience. So how valuable is the answer? Right? So you need to be talking to your target audience. Now, I'm gonna tell you, once we get into business, we have learned we need to talk to our target audience, right? Like even in this group, even in our community, right? You guys voted for the movie that we're gonna watch this month. That was a poll, right? So I questioned you. I gave you a few options, and then like Auntie Shake even added an option, and then the vote was overwhelmed. So I'm not just doing movies that nobody wants to watch in this community, right? So go ahead, figure out who is your target audience, and then you need to be getting data from them about what they like, what is the price point they would pay for, what would make them pay more, right? All of the things. So we want to ask questions about the pain points, the preferences, and what they're willing to pay for the solution. The next thing, we want to seek expert advice, right? So if you don't have a coach in your life, again, you can go to the market. There's data out there. What is something close to you? What is something else that your particular target market is buying in droves? There's data out there. Okay, we need to find that data. So we're not just getting market research on the competitors and the person that we want to buy from us. We're looking at history, right? So that we can be able to forecast how to do this thing. Okay. Some of y'all need to be testing different pricing levels, right? Testing different bonuses or added value, all that kind of stuff. You need to be trying to figure out where the people are that you want to sell to. Some of y'all just think that wherever you are when you sell it, that's going to make it sell, and it's not necessarily so. You need to go to where the people are that are going to buy it. So those are some of the ways, okay, that you can mitigate the risk of having an offer that does not have a market fit. Learn about the market. Learn about who you're going to sell it to, right? Learn about what are the ups and downs. What time of year do they tend to sell more, and what time of year could be a slow time of year, right? Some of you right now have launched your business, and there is data in your business. You don't even know your numbers. Go back and learn your own numbers, right? A lot of you have more than one offer. Is the offer that you have that's forward facing is your main offer? Should that be the main offer? Right? So let's do our research. Let's know our numbers. So in 2024, what we're going to do is we're going to give the right people the right stuff at the right time, at the right price, right? So those are the things that we're going to do in 2024 to make sure that we're mitigating risk, because we as small business owners and entrepreneurs, we cannot afford to start putting a lot of money into something that's not going to work for us. right? We need it to work. And for it to work, we need it to sell. Now, I'm going to say, we joke a lot about people having original ideas and trying to say, you can definitely sell anything to anybody, but how patient are you? Okay? Because if the market doesn't want it, on average, the market doesn't want, you're going to have to wait a long time to find that little niche little person, right? And I'm not going to use the word niche. I might use the word that little strange, weird person that wants that. So how patient are you? A lot of us are not patient enough to be as creative as we are with the offers that we have. Okay, so find your people and do your research. Did anybody else have anything they wanted to say on the subject? Come off the mic. Come off the mic. I see we got Shawana here. Heather, we have a new person. I don't know. Shiko, is that the correct pronunciation? Is this one of your people, Heather? You want to welcome her to the community? Or
Yes,
him?
everyone, I want you to meet Shiko. She is a children's book author who launched her own publishing company. That's how we got to know each other, as I edited her books. She's a brilliant writer and has really like embraced the whole marketing and selling part of being an author, as well as I have sent several authors her way to have their books illustrated and published. So she is she lives sometimes in Ireland and sometimes in Michigan. So I don't know where in
Love
the
it.
world she is right now, but like that's her. She's bi-coastal, but not in the way we normally think of it. So
Listen, that's my
so
kind of
anyway,
person. You know that.
yeah, but she's amazing. So she's hilarious and brilliant and sarcastic and will fit in well with us. So
Awesome, awesome. Welcome to the community. Welcome to the community. Shawana Kennedy, good morning. Good morning. What do you have to say about things being put out in the marketplace, okay, that people may or may not buy, and that being a risk to small businesses?
Good morning. Happy New Year on this side of the globe. Amen.
Yes.
Well, I honestly, when I thought about it and I heard, because I did hear about the cake. And the funny thing is, I was the sister that was buying the pots for the other sister that wanted to sell the cake. So I did hear that earlier. However, and even with that cake business, it really has to be a person. And that's where, with our own business, how we're investing in our own business or the things that we believe to sell, because it wasn't that my sister cannot cook, because she can kill it. It's that what we're investing in, the people have to be invested, because I have been the person that have been wanting to be more invested in other people and their gifting and their talent than they have. So to bring it back to even our own thing, to make sure that we are really, because we can do things, is saying what are those things that should be the priority, so that those funds are going to the right thing in the right order at the right time in the right season. If that kind of makes sense. And I love what I'm looking at. Somebody mentioned Beyonce mentioning it in a song too, and having the right people in your collective in the proximity, because they could mention that bag, that cake that nobody thinks about. Matter of fact, there's a lady here in Georgia. She is somewhat known, but it wasn't until a influencer tasted her cake, and now everybody wants that cake. So it's being in the right place with what it is that you have to offer, and having that forward-facing offer, as Shay talks and tells us to do all the time, so that when it does meet the right people in the right place at the right time, that could be that moment that your product, your service takes off. So I hope that made sense. Amen.
It did make sense, and I appreciate you. Did anybody else have anything that they wanted to